everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is of course my October plan with me. October is right around the corner, which means a brand new bullet journal setup, and you guys can plan along with me. Before we get into it, I wanted to showcase some of your recreations from last month. They are above me. Look at how beautiful they are. You guys are seriously so talented, it blows my mind. But anyways, of course, if you recreate any of my bullet journal spreads, whether it be from this month or previous month, be sure to send a picture over to me. You can tag me in your Instagram photos. My Instagram is @AmandaHDoodles. Make sure you tag me in the actual photo, not just the caption, so then I can like and comment on all of them. And of course, my Instagram has a ton more bullet journal inspiration and doodles and all of that stuff over there. So check me out on Instagram, it's a really fun time. But back to this month's bullet journal setup. My theme for October was very fall themed, of course, because fall is starting and Halloween is soon and all of that. So I wanted to stick with the falling leaves, autumn leaves, that sort of vibe. And I wanted it to look very rustic, so my accent color was brown. So I hope you guys enjoy my bullet journal setup for this month. Sit back, relax, and now I'm gonna hand you guys off to the voiceover. Since my theme was autumn leaves, I decided to do a wreath for my cover page around the letters, as well as a bunch of different falling leaves all around it to kind of give it a nice fall vibe. And later on, I am going to use my watercolor paints to color these leaves in various shades of brown. The watercolors that I'm using are the Sakura Koi watercolors, and these are actually new, but I really liked the formula and how small and compact they are. They're really good for travel, and I'm just using a water brush pen that came with it. And yes, I'm just picking up various shades of browns, reds, yellows, and greens to kind of give it a very earthy vibe. I feel like the watercolor just really suits this fall theme. And I know usually I pick one accent color, but for the cover page I couldn't resist. I wanted to make it look and feel very fall. The next page is of course my monthly spread, and last month, as I mentioned, I switched over to a standard calendar layout, and I found that this worked really well for me, so I decided to do that again, except this time I'm actually drawing the individual squares, and I'm going to be adding multiple shades of drop shadow to match the cover page, if that makes sense. I just really wanted to play around with these watercolors, so I did utilize them a lot throughout this setup for October. In case you guys are wondering about the spacing, I believe each of these squares is around 5 by 5 dots for the Leuchtturm journal, and of course I have 5 rows and 7 columns for this calendar. As you can see, the squares that I did have rounded corners, and I also didn't use a ruler for this layout because I really wanted this whole layout to have a very handmade kind of rustic look to it. So I feel like the imperfections of this calendar added to that whole scrapbook vibe to my bullet journal setup. So again, I wanted to add the accents of the brown shades, so I went back in with my watercolors and I added a nice drop shadow, and I kind of scattered the colors around to make it look more autumnal. And then after that, I of course added some more falling leaves all around the calendar in the empty spaces just to tie everything together. I actually haven't used watercolor in my bullet journal in a while. I think the last time that I used it was in February, so I know that I'm gonna get a lot of questions about watercolor with the bullet journal and the Leuchtturm and all of that. So I personally find that the Leuchtturm pages really do hold up the watercolor as long as you don't use a ton of water and soak the page, of course. As you can see, I just do kind of a wash of color, so I don't find any wrinkling or bleeding of any sort, which is awesome. The next pages are of course my trackers, and my mood tracker is something that I'm really excited for because it's really different from what I normally do. As you can tell from my last plan with me in September, I've been trying out new methods of doing tracking because for a while I was a little unmotivated to fill them in, and I found that there's large periods of times that I just wouldn't fill in my trackers. So again, I've been trying to switch things up in order to get myself to do them. So as you can see, I drew a bunch of larger leaves, and I drew 31 of these, and basically each leaf represents a day, and when the day is up, I will fill in the leaf with a color depending on my mood. I forgot to do a legend for the color scale, but I do kind of have a mental scale in my head about what color represents what mood, but you can do whatever colors you want. On the other side, I did my habit tracker, of course. This one is kind of standard, except usually I do them landscape, and this time I decided to do it portrait since I did have the whole page to do these habit trackers. By the way, the Tombow dual brush pen that I used in order to scribble behind the header was shade number 977, in case you guys were wondering. Flipping over to my expense tracker, this layout is exactly the same. I don't think it's changed since I started bullet journaling. It's just a really simple, standard layout that's really easy to follow, and I just find it works for me. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I of course had to add little leaf accents, and I just really like the whole vibe. Everything's really coming together. Since I had this empty space before my weekly spread, I decided to do a motivational page. This one says enjoy the little things, and I did larger illustrations of leaves that I of course watercolored in later. Personally, I really love doing lettering and motivational pages like these in my bullet journal because I find them really stress relieving and therapeutic to do, especially when my life is so hectic and crazy, so I can just sit down and be creative with no rules, anything goes. And it also is a nice break in your bullet journal from all of the structured agenda stuff. Speaking of structured agenda stuff, the last spread is my weekly spread, and this spread is something new. I actually haven't done this layout before in my bullet journal, so I actually split up the 2 pages into 8s. I of course used my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen to do some lettering. It's not really calligraphy. I didn't really connect the letters. It was more like a handwritten vibe, especially to go along with this whole theme. I had to use my brown brush pen for the accents to color in the background of the letters, and of course, y'all know me, I had to add some drop shadows. In the bottom right corner, I have goals and next week, and what I'll do is for goals, I'll write out all of the things that I want to complete for that week, whether it be homework, assignments, readings. Having that weekly goals section is great because you are able to assign them to specific days if you want to, and kind of track your progress for the week. The next week section is where I put any tasks that have to be pushed for next week, obviously, but this layout just really gives me a lot of surface area and space to plan, which I love for school. So here is the final flip through of my October bullet journal setup. It's something a little bit different from what I normally do, but I'm really digging the vibes, and I hope you guys did as well. Alright everyone, so that was it for my October bullet journal setup and plan with me. I can't believe we're already at October. That seems insane to me that we're so close to the end of the year. But I hope you guys enjoyed this bullet journal setup nonetheless. Again, if you decide to recreate any of my spreads, be sure to tag me on Instagram at AmandaReedShoodles. I think we pretty much covered everything, so I hope you guys have an awesome day. Keep doodling, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye guys!